Now on one, in a change to the listing in the Radio Times.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Tonight, we delve into a tale most captivating, a mystery woven with threads of suspense and unexpected turns. Settle in, won't you?
So I thought I'd make a new video today, given some of the really cool and interesting developments that have happened this week. As with the last couple of videos, I think the best idea is going to be to break it down into points again. There's quite a lot to say on a bunch of different fronts, so let's not waste any time and leave you hanging. So the first thing that needs addressing is that I gave out the rules to a couple of people, a person on Reddit and then another person on Instagram who I'm going to talk about a little bit later. They both seemed to be really interested in the game, but the one thing that came back was that they were a little bit confused about what it's all about. What was the motivation for the beings doing their rituals? What were the objectives? Oh, a whole bunch of stuff. And I didn't take it negatively. In fact, it wasn't written negatively at all. But I have learned something really important. When I first made this game, it was just for me, just a little solo play, something that wasn't just a skirmish game, although I love them. And I wrote down a bunch of rules just so that I could get playing. In recent weeks, I have been refining the rules, and I spent some time last week working on the aesthetics. However, I think there's a bunch of information that I understand in my own head that isn't written in the rules and may not even have been evident in the last few videos. I think I've been coming across a little bit like this.
Have you ever had a dream that you do?
So I ended up discussing it with my brother, and I kind of asked for his help really. And he said a good idea might be to use semantic waves. What are semantic waves, you ask? Well, I didn't know either, but he did. So I listened to what he had to say and I watched a few videos on YouTube, and I think I get it. It's a system of explaining things clearly, a little bit like a wave. So it starts off low with the bigger picture, and then it rises up to much more detailed explanation, and then crashes down back into a bigger picture. That's kind of what I see of it. So I decided to start the rules all over again and write a little forward. And my brother did lots to help me structure it and refine it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it out for you, and hopefully that will explain this whole thing much more clearly. Sleep Awake is a tabletop storytelling and strategy game played on a kinetic sandboard using tarot cards to determine the actions and outcomes. It is miniature agnostic and intended for 1 to 4 players. Players must interact to build their ritual strength and complete their rites. Moral choices, the tarot, and special rules will affect the state of the world and the relationship between its inhabitants. The game continues until one being has completed 3 rituals, leading to one of 66 possible endings for the sleeper and the world. The objective of the game is to resurrect the sleeping god to guide the odd world to one of 3 outcomes: harmony, neutrality, or discord, depending on how the cards are drawn and the interactions between the beings. You might not be trying to win in a traditional sense, but to uncover what kind of ending this world will reach through play. What you'll need to play: a tarot deck and 1d6, a 40cm by 40cm board or tray of kinetic sand to act as the play area, 4 miniatures to represent the suits, wands, cups, swords and pentacles, the rulebook or a quick reference sheet for interpreting draws and resolving turns, and optionally a small musical instrument, lighting and ambient music to enhance the atmosphere. So I think if I can keep writing the rules in this way, hopefully anyone else who has a look or ever considers playtesting it is going to have a lot easier time understanding the whole concept and how to play. So let's talk about my second point, and this one is really, really exciting. A guy called Kai contacted me. He goes under the name Merlin the Preposterous on Instagram. You have to check him out. His sculpting and painting and everything is amazing. So he drops me a message and says he's interested in the game, and I thank him very much. Then he messages back and says that he's on the train and he'd drawn this concept art. I mean, look at it, it's wicked, right? So then, like, the next day, he sends me this sculpt that he's made. And then a couple of days later, he sends this one as well.
Apologies for this interruption, but we have some breaking news.
So I'd actually finished editing this video and was about to upload it when Kai dropped another sculpt for the game. Check this out. My man is operating on a ridiculous power level. Now the 28 community, if that's what we're going to call it in general, is just the most incredibly supportive and warm community. If there is any negativity, I haven't seen it. I know that Trent Holbrook did a video the other day where he was getting some rubbish, but you know, I think that's uncommon, I hope. But the effect that it has when people like Tanner or Kai or somebody on Reddit or anything, when they support the things that you're doing, it's indescribable. It means so much, and I've got lovely support, a fantastic family, and really close friends who were backing it up right from the beginning. I always mention my brother, but he's my man. But Kai was saying that he wanted to do molds, to maybe even do them in metal, and it's all a bit overwhelming. But what it did do was the bit that I was talking about earlier with refining the rules. It's just made me all the more determined to make this game the best I possibly can. And if I'm going to get support like this, I've got to go all out. It also did make me think about maybe doing some more sculpts and having a go at doing a mold. I mean, considering the last video I was talking about binding books, oh my god. But who knows? Maybe I will. You know, Kai's would be enough. Kai's would be more than enough. But maybe I could give it a try. So this brings me to the last point. Tanner, yet again, was kind enough to watch the video, and he's always full of support and brilliant ideas. So he'd watched a bit about binding books, and he gave me some advice. I think he's done it himself before now, and I think that's something I want to pursue. But he did say, look, you know, if you really wanted to have a go at doing a small print run, I might have some contacts that would help, that are, you know, cool people that you'd want to do it with. Now, one of them does reso printing, so that's where you kind of get the 3 coloured, like this kind of thing. And that set me off on another point, which is aesthetics. So initially when I did the rules, I kind of gave it a DIY, like the cover is kind of photocopy looking, and all the pages at that time had a kind of photocopy looking background. And then obviously, not last week, but the week before, I decided to make it look a bit more like this. And I do like that. It is kind of good. But I think it might have been Kai who, one of the points he'd said was there was differences in the aesthetics. And I think that's what he was talking about. And it's me, I guess, kind of trying out different things. But this reso idea, now that's a vibe, innit? That's a look. But I need time to kind of think it through. But I should choose it, because as I go along, as I make these videos, I'm kind of showing all the dead ends and the changes of direction, and I hope that's sort of interesting. I'm kind of making them, so hopefully I can kind of look back on it. Now, obviously, I'm not getting above my station. I don't think I'm making like the greatest game ever made, but it's a little like a friend of mine writes, and we had this conversation, and he was saying, I don't know whether it's worth it, you know, it's just some stuff I've been doing. And I was like, yeah, no, you have to. And they're up on Amazon, and they're awesome. He goes under the name FM Trow, and they're brilliant. One thing that I said to him was, how many people have thought about writing a book? There's lots of us. How many have actually gone through with it? Very few. So whatever you do, you've won. And that's how I'm going to look at things. So If you're still with me at this point in the video, I really appreciate it. I'll be back again as things transpire, but having cool people like Kai, like Tanner, like Jim, like my brother, my close friends, Dave and Tom and Neil and Gav, and obviously my family, who are they even like playing the game, can you believe it? Yeah, so anyway, take care of yourselves and I'll see you really soon.